How is everybody?
Good.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
We had
I'd already be like 8.
our first corridor of 2018. Everybody healthy?
Yep, all except
Hard?
all except one, but he's getting better.
Yeah. Oh, he's a tank.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
We haven't made the car that could kill him yet. I know, yeah. 4 people in the hospital and then one has died. One has died so far. It's been a great year. My brother's mother-in-law passed away. Now, my brother's been married about 30 years and he's only seen his mother-in-law once. And that was about 23 years ago. And I said to him, do you know how lucky you are? Yeah, she was cool. I met her once. She was 88 and it was a long life. And she could rock and roll for an old woman. That blank piece, 20 sheet paper here is blank verse. By the way, I'm Bill. If you don't know who I am, I'm Bill Santana. I'm formerly Rich Lusterfield of the Chandler Lusterfields.
Oh, is this a piece of
I guess I'll kick things off. Welcome to the 2018 Caffeine Corridor here at 9 Gallery. Are we on our own today, Sean?
There was Michelle's in there. They were making us some coffee. Michelle's the one that did all these for us too.
Wow.
Hard work.
Yeah, it's hard work.
Try to make us look good.
Okay, well, you know why we're here, right? We're here for the hell of it.
Nothing else we're
We're
doing.
here, yeah, there's nothing else to do on Friday that, based on our football playoffs,
Okay.
resume tomorrow. We have, are our features here yet?
Most of them.
Okay. You want to sign up for the open mic? I'm very, very generous with time again tonight. Your name is again? Logan. So I guess I'll kick things off. Start out with a short piece called Fresh Ingredients. I bought the new Misogynist cookbook. Every single recipe calls for a pinch of ass. The shattered nutshell of ancient containment. The rush of air quietly into climatization. The rush of time loudly into a new year. Guy Lombardo and the Royal Israelites play an untempered version of Old Lang Syne. A 2,000-year-old man curls into a ball in the cold Sonora decline. Remember the New Year's Eve back in 33 when Christ turned blood into champagne? The reason I don't like poems about poetry. The poem I was working on left the room, one word at a time, as if I wouldn't notice. I'm not going to waste my time rounding them up and bringing them back, even though some of those words are volatile. I can't be held responsible for everything. No, I'll just write another poem, one dangerous word at a time. And then I witnessed her surroundings completely disappear. I, as well, felt temporarily erased, and thankfully the last to go, into the entropy of adoration. You can see a world reflected in her eyes. A blink, a squint, mascara's revenge for all the disappointments. A breath, a sonata publicly exhaled, something ventured, something to believe in. A curtain drawn for the quiet moment. An eyelash drops into a silent forest. Thank you very much. My work is done here tonight. Good night, everybody. Hey, let's bring up Tracy Thomas. Tracy! Tracy! You're not Tracy. You're Tracy. God, I'm being bamboozled. One bamboozle at a time.
I wanted to read some of my couple of poems, my favorite poets here. This is Andre Breton. He was kind of the leader of the Surrealist movement. He was a poet for the most part. And this is his book. You can tell I've carried it around quite a bit. And it's this poem I want to read. It's from the collection's Earthlight. And this one is called Rather Life. Rather life, rather than those prisms with no depth, even if their colors are pure. Rather than this hour always hidden, rather than these terrible vehicles of cold flame. Rather than these overripe stones, rather this heart with its safety catch. Rather than that murmuring pool and that fabric singing in the air and the earth at the same time. Rather than that marriage blessing joining my forehead to total vanities, rather life. Rather life with its conspiratorial sheets, its scars from escapes, rather life, rather that rose window on my tomb. The life of being here, nothing but being here, where one voice says, are you there? Where another answers, are you there? I'm hardly here at all, alas, and even when we might be making fun of what we kill, rather life, venerable childhood, the ribbon coming out of a fakir resembles the playground slide of the world, though the sun is only a shipwreck. Insofar as a woman's body resembles it, you dream, contemplating the whole length of its trajectory, or only while closing your eyes on the adorable storm named your hand, rather life with its waiting rooms when you know you'll never be shown in. Rather life instead of those health spas where you're served by drudges, rather life unfavorable and long, when the books close again here on less gentle shelves, and when over there the weather would be better it would be free. Yes, rather life. Rather life is the pit of scorn, with that head beautiful enough, like that antidote to that perfection it summons and fears. Life the makeup on God's face. Life like a virgin passport, a little town like Pont-à-Mousson, and since everything's already been said, rather life instead. And then just this other one. This was written kind of near the end of his poetry writing days. He did a lot of theoretical writings and writings on art, and he covered a lot of territory. Poetry is really what he would love to, in terms of it as an artist, anyway. And this is called On the Road to San Romano. Poetry is made in bed like love. Its unmade sheets are the dawn of things. Poetry is made in the woods. It has the space it needs. Not this one, but the other, governed by the eye of the kite. The dew on a horsetail, the memory of a misted bottle of Traminer on a silver salver, a tall column of tourmaline above the sea and the road of mental adventure, which climbs vertically. One pause and it's instantly overgrown. This is not for shooting on the rooftop, shouting on the rooftops. It's not fitting to leave the door open or to call for witnesses. The shoal of fish, the hedges of tomtits, the rail at the entrance to a great station, the reflections of both shores, the furrows in the bread, the bubbles of the stream, the days of the calendar, the St. John's wort. The act of love and the act of poetry are incompatible with the reading aloud in the newspaper. The direction of the sunbeam, the blue gleam that connects the axe blows of the woodcutter, the string of the kite in the shape of a heart or a fish trap, the rhythmic beat of beavers' tails, the industriousness of lightning, the casting down of sugar plums from the top of the old steps, the avalanche. The room of dazzling illusion is no, gentlemen, it is not the eighth chamber nor the fumes of the barrack room one Sunday evening. The figures of the dance executed in transparency above the pools, the outlining of a woman's body in dagger throws on a wall, the shining scrolls of smoke, the curls of your hair, the curve of a Filipino sponge, the lacings of the coral serpent, the entry of ivy into the runes. It has all of time before it. The embrace of poetry, like the embrace of the flesh, for as long as it lasts, forbids any stealthy glance upon the destitution of the world. Right. Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy.
That was a whole throng of people coming in. That first heat is mine.
Hey, in case you didn't know, the floor was paint by number. Floor 1 gray.
Wasn't funny.
Elizabeth Sheehan is next. Elizabeth?
She couldn't make it.
She couldn't make it? In that case, Patrick Harris next.
Okay.
On the way to work in the new building off I-17 in Peoria, a motorcyclist with cameras on his helmet was trying to pick a fight with motorists. I have to drive around to back up and probably end up as a minor player in a YouTube video or a prosecution exhibit. At McDonald's, they didn't have the drive-through sign turned around so I could see the breakfast combo numbers, so I have to ask for the McGriddle meal like some kind of idiot who only understands pictures, and when I get to the window, the cashier didn't even know what I ordered, so I had to say it again, and when I said the signs were backwards, he said something like, they must have forgot it, and all I wanted to say was, hey, why don't you take some damn initiative and spin the sign around, because right now, they is you.
Yeah.
On a corner in front of the big QT station near the overpass, two homeless people were trying to rouse a third who was sleeping in an old red blanket on the sidewalk. They looked dirty and concerned. Two parables conflate in my head at the same moment when the light turns green. Prodigal Samaritan, good son, someone talking so I don't have time to ascertain the difference between strung out and dead. I'm not one for prosecuting drug criminals, but sometimes I also think that anyone who sells to people who are that far gone should be kneecapped with a lead pipe, which is known to the state of California to cause cancer. But this is Arizona, and I'm mad before I can even pull into the dark covered parking, and I can't even tell if I'm feeling rage for the daily parade of wasted potential, or the simple fact that the goddamn sign was backward. Ray Thomas of the Moody Blues died.
Yeah.
He's the guy who played the flute on the albums, at least on the early ones. Before they got all synthesizer reading, he kind of lost his job. But I have a poem that references one of his song names, so I have to read it. You know that feeling you get when you left half a can of soda somewhere but you just can't find it? Panic is setting in, it's going to go flat, and it's going to get cold, and the bugs are going to find it. The next day, you're going to have a 50-yard chain of tiny ants walking across the wall like an anti-gravity highway. Then you'll know where the can is. The can is gone, half of something you want still in it, and there's one CD you want to hear right now, and you haven't even thought of that in 3 years. Not for 8 years before that, and it pops into your head, so you check the CD rack and see an empty spot where it should be. And then you remember that it was in your car those 3 years ago, when 4 gang members stole the car and weren't content with the undisclosed bundle of cash they got from the bank, and they had to take your CD player with them. It's the one with the black thing billowing, bursting forth with power. The Rosicrucians. 1991, the Colorado Springs Marriott Hotel. You set up chairs for banquets and conventions, and the Rosicrucians are renting out half the ballroom. Mysterious, religious, friendly, and slightly strange, like Mormons, but cool. One's a balding guy with big tortoiseshell glasses wearing some nice shoes with black socks you can see because the toe section is cut out from the wingtips. like Tom Hanks did with his dead friend's shoes on the island of FedEx. It's 10 p.m. and you're cleaning up the other side of the ballroom, separated by a collapsible air wall, and they're having a ritual. Earlier, the curly-haired server who gets $12 an hour while you get $4.50 doing the real work, says she saw them in robes. Everyone else has gone home, but they're having their ritual with the nice low Hammond organ and harmonic voices. They sound like the Church of the Moody Blues. Like one of their good pre-80s albums you bought a couple of 1991 weeks ago, that you can turn up so loud that you'll swear you smell sweet smoke coming out of the speakers. To our children's children's children, but in the next room, haunting, curiously hypnotic, mysterious enough to set a delayed action fuse in your mind, so you can think of them when you're not finding half a can of Mountain Dew somewhere down Eternity Road.
Thank you, Patrick. Like somebody already spilled something on the floor over here. Oh, gosh.
Is it half a can of Mountain Dew?
The other half. Brown Mountain Dew. Hey, Mac McGowan's next. Mac, come on up here, Mac.
Hey.
Whoa.
Sorry.
God.
You can have my chair. It's nice to see y'all. Don't get here as often as I would like. Just curious, I want to know what shithole country your ancestors came from. Ireland. Spain. Scotland.
Italy.
Italy.
America.
That's a shithole country.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, all you people in shithole countries, here's some poetry. As I was assembling these, I realized that there's a theme to them, and the theme is that it's the 70th anniversary of the 1968 Tet Offensive. It's my second tour in Vietnam. That's a long time ago.
Wow.
70 years? No, it could be that.
No.
50 years. It feels like 70 years. And I assembled poems, and I couldn't find a folder to put them in, so I found this old folder that says vasectomy. Which is pretty much irrelevant now. I don't think we have to worry about it. Okay, so these are the poems. And this first poem is about Leonard Cohen. Of course, we lost Leonard Cohen last year. And as I was coming back from my second tour in Vietnam, I heard Leonard Cohen sing Suzanne, and it just blew my ass away. You know, what a beautiful poetic song that was. What a wonderful poet he was. Not to mention a wonderful performer. So it's called Don't We, Leonard Cohen. Everybody knows that you've left us. Everyone remembers their first time. Everybody knows they missed the bus. Everybody knows who dropped the dime. Everybody knows that time goes quick. Everybody knows we all get sick like a shriveled rose. Everybody knows. Everybody knows that the bill is coming. Everybody knows that their cards decline. Everybody hears the drummer drumming. Everybody gets a bit behind. Everybody's calling up their homies. Everybody wants a party pony and some brand new jokes. Everybody smokes. Everybody loves you, Leonard, baby. Everybody thinks they're really dead. Everybody's gone to join the Navy. Everybody's gone and flipped their lid. Everybody's been so sweet and kind. Everybody's stupid, deaf, or blind. They never really feel. Everyone's unreal. Everybody says, everybody writes, everybody lies, everybody fights. Everybody's greedy. Everybody's seedy from head to toes. Yeah. Everybody. lived in Ohio, used to be this pub I went to, and not every night. Well, I'm Irish, so I'm frequently. But there was this old gentleman, older than me, used to come in, World War II veteran, served in the Battle of Okinawa toward the end of World War II. And I get to talking to Jimmy, and Jimmy would get around to talking about Okinawa, but he'd talk about it in a way that was real detached. He'd talk about the volcanic sands and watching the sea come in and rolling back the sands and so forth and so on. And one night, Jimmy and I just talked and talked and talked until quite late, and then Jimmy didn't come back to that pub for a while. Because we got into things that Jimmy wasn't really comfortable talking about. Jimmy don't come around here anymore. I ain't seen him in 3 months. After a few Boilermakers, he started talking about Okinawa and the beauty of volcanic rocks sluiced by fierce tides. Then he'd switch to whiskey and he'd weep about black sand and the Okinawan suicides that bobbled in the surf. After that last time he and Jimmy talked, Jimmy don't come around here anymore. What happened in Okinawa, the Japanese told the Okinawans that the Americans were going to rape them and kill them all, and so they started jumping off the cliffs, and that's what he was avoiding. That's what he was saying. Anybody know what an animal called a pangolin is? Yeah, it's common to Asia and the eastern part of the world. It's kind of like an oriental, an armadillo kind of.
Scaly.
Yeah, it's scaly and it's kind of yellow golden, and it looks like it's probably not really a mammal, but it is. The last operation that I went out on in Vietnam, and I saw a pangolin. It's the only time I ever saw them. They're endangered. So, beside the rapid stream that raced to join the chocolate river, I saw you perched upon a log in a bower of dark green leaves. You were a gold leaf Buddha, or Khmer god, nose and mouth long and exquisite, thin tongue flashing, an agile snake. You wore your dragon claws wrapped around you, your dragon tail. Your armor was butternut golden, scales like scallops, or golden fingernails. I said nothing to the men who waited for me. We boarded the helicopters on the grass beside the river. We rose and then we flew away. You were that holy. You were that serene. And another last poem about my last tour in Vietnam, called Harvesting Rice. As we descended down from the hills, burdened, dirty, scratched up and sore, the old farmers harvested rice. When the helicopters flit about like dragonflies, the old farmers harvested rice. When our artillery pounded the deep green hills above their cultivated valley, the old farmers didn't even look up, too busy harvesting rice. They cut rice stalks with old sickles, grasping bamboo handles as hard and as brown as their old hands. They said nothing as we walked by. When helicopters landed in their fields, the old farmers did not look up. For them, helicopters were invisible. As helicopters took us from their hard land, the farmers worked. They slashed and carried and stacked their rice. As we ascended into evanescent clouds, we watched them shrink and imagined that they were small. They gathered rice as we became as mist. Those old men were never small. Thank you.
Back. When I was young, I was involved in a very violent game of musical chairs. That were really part of this. That's why I got a little carried away. I apologize. I work with a man who, his wife works with Sandy the Bull Gravano's daughter-in-law.
Oh my God.
And he bumped into Sandy the Bull Gravano at a little kid's birthday party. That's something you don't hear very often. Make sure Sandy gets a good piece of cake. Don't skimp on the ice cream for Sammy. Gary Bowers is next. Gary. Happy New Year, Gary. Gary the Bull Bowers.
I'd like to start with an anecdote, and then I'll read four acrostic poems, and finally, really horrible poem that is sincere and romantic. The anecdote is, in the morning, I looked on Facebook, and it seemed that President Trump had said something, and I wanted to verify it. So I went to my search engine of choice, and I intended to type Trump shithole. But before I got to the second H of shithole, the engine provided the suggestion Trump shithead. So it said case closed. Now I'm an acrostic poet, and when I perform my acrostic poetry, sometimes I make it like a magic trick. So I'll say the poem, and it should flow and have a good meter and a rhyme scheme or a near rhyme scheme. And then the reveal is I show you what the acrostic is. So here's the poem. Syntax, Jello. Hovercraft, drones to and fro. In our faces, what the hell? Talking shit's a bagatelle. And the double acrostic is shithole. Now my other acrostic poem is send us help, ASAP. Hell's beyond a thin veneer. Let this so-called leader's sleaze take him off the roster. Jeez. And the triple acrostic is shithole prez. So the horrible poem I promised you was written for and dedicated to my then girlfriend, the former Melanie Fenwick, now Melanie Terry. And then a week later she dropped me like a bad habit, and now she's my girlfriend again, so I brought the poem back out. It's called Enfoldment. To Melanie. Arms around you may astound you, wake and feel that soul surround you. Who has found you with enfoldment? Growing old meant fading once, but who hunts for love may find. Love gives sight, it does not blind. Love gives youth, not fading age. All new chapters, page on page. Arms enfold and their connection. Loving kindness, heart's protection. Ever growing chance for happy. Caution! It makes grown men sappy. Thank you.
Is Melanie here?
Alas, no.
No.
She's in Marana, where she lives.
Probably dropped you.
Yeah, probably a couple days.
This we heard? Barbara Bonomo Michaels is next. Barbara.
Yes.
Been a while. Welcome back.
I've been walking now too, that's a hot deal. Used to name President, what's his name? Now I got a name, President Chittle. Perfect. Okay, such is love. The hip kid from NYC, cool and aloof, his fingers danced across the frets of the Les Paul, candy apple red, head down, hair tumbling to the middle, frisky and alive with hooligan appeal. We said love with green eyes, pinky fingers entwined, lashes kissed cheeks, my first and me his. We were sherbet and sorbet. Secrets we shared, and so sublime, he sang love songs, of course. We wah-wah'd the rock and roll, but as 16 morphed into 17 and then 18 became adults, your songs reeked of rejection, and I moved on. I wonder where sleep is hiding. Certainly not in the shambles of this bed. Books more common than fingers and toes and cats. Sleep does not elude them. I'm armed with my fine quill pen to mark up this vacant white page, but the words are only ghosts, not so much there as there, like sleep. Those first lines slippery, but no second lines are arriving. So I pretend, I fake it, that they are like my dreams, shape-shifting into someone else's bed. Okay, this probably needed a little bit of something. But I just was so inspired I had to write it. I go to the doctor a lot and was just at the doctor not too long ago. And the doctor said, "Are you sexually active?" Well, yes. When was the last time you had a period? Oh, I don't remember. 1995 or something. Could you be pregnant? This is about my sinus infection, right? We have to ask these questions. We have to. When was the last time you had intercourse? Oh, a couple days ago. Did you use a condom? Well, no. You listed yourself single. Is this correct? Well, sort of. Do you have multiple partners? Sometimes. At the same time. Ponder on that. I don't understand the question. You use condoms when you have multiple partners? Okay, this is just getting far too humorous on some of them. A flustered look has now come across the dreamer's eyes. He flipped the pages. He was sure he's looking for less juicy questioning. But I'm starting to see the absurdity in all this and maybe turn the gas up a bit. And I say, I've heard about in retirement centers, they're having a real problem keeping the clients in their own rooms at night. Who knows what might be going on behind closed doors? Dr. Prudish, by nature, must have decided to rein me in. So you have active sex life after 65? Well, yes I do. And I smile, and I just can't help myself. I bite my tongue, but no longer charge for it. It's hard to have a sexually active nose. Do they have condoms for that? At this point, the doctor's patience has worn thin, and he leaves the room. And Nurse Ratchet appears with a prescription for a Z-Pack. What happened to the days when you could just call the doctor, and the nurse practitioner just sent you a Z-Pack to the pharmacy. No, that would be too cheap and easy. What would happen with all those doctors who spent all that money for their valuable college degrees?
Wow. Dr. Harvey Weinstein. You know he's in Scottsdale now. Yeah. Got smacked in the face the other day.
Yeah.
Christiana Kramer. Christiana?
I appreciate you getting my name right now. Alright, so none of my poems have titles because it's like too much commitment for me. I'm also a sad little thing, so bear with me. This one's titled, no, I'm just kidding. Why must you ask me why I cannot walk in light? Isn't it clear by the squinting of my eyes and the squirming of my body that I am uncomfortable and unfamiliar? To walk in light is to illuminate my fears. They are much more alive and frightening when I can see them. They roar with rage when I try to stand my ground, shaking my body until I crumble. They loom over the pile I have turned into, threatening attack when I retrieve myself and try to take the next step. To walk in light is to illuminate my insecurities. They haunt me like the ghoul underneath the floorboard, tapping out of rhythm to remind me I am not facing myself. Clicking like a clock plastered to my wall, reminding me I am running out of time. To walk in light is to illuminate my lack of belief in myself. It sneers at me with teeth so wide I quaver. It cackles when I hide, making it known how sharp it aids teeth in piercing my passion. I am nocturnal. I live in the darkness that surrounds me, making it my home. For to face these things means to get up and fight, and how do you expect me to do so when I have only ever lost? Why must you ask me why I cannot walk in light? That was one. Alright, one more. I taught you how to speak. I found you, broken-winged and halfway out of your fallen shell. In an exasperated voice caused by finding your beauty, I promised you, I will never leave you. You did not understand what I was saying, but your eyes dazzled in amazement. They shone like the stars I had only seen on weekend trips taken away from the world, the ones where you seek refuge. That is what I hoped we could be for one another. I held you in my arms and cooed sweet lullabies until you trusted me. I spoke the language of love, one that bewildered you with unfamiliarity. But you learned it, and your vocabulary grew, and your wings healed. I did not realize you would fly away from me. This happened often, and although you might have thought that with each time I would grow more accustomed, it only became scarier than the first. See, when you returned, you spoke new languages that I could not comprehend. You baffled me each time, but I tried. I let you pick and prod at me, stabbing me occasionally with a beak that did not know tender words, but wanted to, very hard sometimes. For the first year uttering, I care about you so much because saying I love you was too scary and not something you had mastered yet. But the pattern beating of my heart heightened and that drew your attention. I believed you were a parrot because you mocked me, sputtering words of sweetness that made me smile, fooling me into thinking you were capable of conjuring up your own phrases that expressed a genuine sense of feeling. I was unaware that I housed a baby vulture and I was merely roadkill. Your vigorous need to pull things apart until there was nothing left exposed my heart. You left my half-lifeless body simmering in the hot sun until I was deemed slightly appealing again, or until you grew bored. You could not let me have the last word. In fact, it was as if I had deprived you of the English language for months, and you felt as if you had no other choice for your tongue threatened explosion. But all you wanted to be sure of was that you gobbled me whole, because you could not stand the thought of another finding your leftovers. And as your slick beak punctured my lungs, you made me proud when you spoke, save your breath.
Thank you, Christiana. And next is Christy White.
I would find up a little lower than that if I'd known I was behind Christiana. Well, a couple of old poems and one new poem. I'll let you guess. Horses for sale. Sky is open in Arizona, even when clouds come wet and heavy from the Mexican south or Pacific west, and hang watery veils along mountain slopes across wide desert bowls. Today, land close to cities and small towns hardly has time to dry from winter rains before bulldozers push and scrape, knock down fences and cacti. Houses, offices, and asphalt parking lots become the view that used to include rabbits, coyote, javelina, quail, and sometimes cows and horses. In a large fenced pasture, the few horses look lost, small, out of place against tall concrete buildings and large signs proclaiming more buildings. The hand-painted sign rocks, pushed by the wind of passing cars. I want to buy the land, the horses, the empty sky.
Yeah.
This is I think I'll only read the one out of this Coyote triptych, and it's number 2. Gray cat sits in window, watches flit of western finches. Her voice chatters and stutters with instinctual desire to hunt, to chase, to catch, to kill small, feathery, tasty creatures. Suddenly, birds are gone. Cat drops her head, stares with different intensity to the still road, where a handsome coyote trots, wild nature unmistakable. He must know he is being watched as he slips into desert, disappears into brush. See, I say to my cat, stroking soft, sleek coat, that coyote would treat you same as you would a bird. Her thin veneer of domesticity is cracked just a little when finches return. Red jasper. The chemistry of us slept 100-year dream, calmed by silence palpable as your absence, burning in center ring and ember, hiding in cold wood. It took the weight of red stones, shared discovery under blue skies, the quick entry of your tongue to stir my jasper blood, awaken the sleeping beauty of my hunger. Will you run away again, even when I ask you not to? I think only of kissing you, the next kiss, to show how my soul wants you to be a fire of a bazillion stars.
Wow.
Thank you, Christy.
Oh, I thought I was on camera. Logan is next. Logan, come on up here, Logan.
So I was going to read another poem. I found out a childhood friend has a PTSD, so kind of seemed kind of necessary, I guess. So it's kind of called The Sound of Silence. I wish nightmares were real, that clowns, spiders, and snakes shook frames, threatened you with bites and balloon animals. But when I fall asleep in caskets, I wake up in catacombs. The piercing eyes of the undertakers place a doormat at my feet. call this home. That's the kind of dreams we don't shake. They send tremors through quakes and send shivers down spines, and all of a sudden nightmares are scenery. That's where dreams take the air from your lips. But while I screamed at walls, I wondered if they'd talk back, diagnose insanity, provide clarity from the wreckage we don't come back from. And in the sound of silence, I bellowed. I don't sleep. I don't eat. I just be.
Wow.
I just sink into whirlpools. With each struggling breath, I recite psalms that rescue the singing from any scope. But I fall on deaf ears, feeding the abyss, and all I hear is an echo. That's it. And a little lighthearted, or a little more lighthearted one. It's called The Power of Pop. The only thing we have to fear is capitalism. Praise be to those who struggle, the disenfranchised, the lost souls of a failed system. We as a people deserve better than what we have left ourselves. Inequality is a reality for many, but never fear, for we have the power to change our world. Praise the demigods of sugary products that reunite our people. Racial discrimination has been exalted by corn syrups, the nectar of a better world. Lend me your hand, and in it I will put a nondescript brand of soda. Power to the pop. This is not your grandfather's revolution. This revolution will be televised with advertisements every 15 minutes. Let the caffeine run your position. Do not falter at the hands of natural causes. All averse disasters come at the relief of natural flavors. Spread the love and peace in a block party, sponsored by American Beer. You know our slogan, may taste like this, but we will endure. Videotape a better non-violent world in your smartphone. Hold this moment in your digital camera. Drive towards a better tomorrow is our latest slogan for our four-door moms. Embrace the change. Evolution is an energy drink sold at your nearest convenience store.
Hey, is the clue here? Nah. Oh, that's a good one. Shantae, you're next. Woo! Woo!
Hey, so thanks for coming out here to our first one of the year. First one with these new floors. It's getting nicer out here. We're happy to have you here. We've got some amazing feature performances after this open mic. In case you haven't been here before, this is kind of like our church. This is the little tide thing. If you have $1 or $2 to pitch into this for the gallery, for letting us in here, that's great. If you don't have any cash, no worries. We're just happy to have you here, but I'll pass this around. I don't think I've read this one. Listening to the Soundgarden song where Chris Cornell sings, "Remember everything's just black or burning sun." We were the last generation to need a voice. One's desperate ways to be heard were cradled in every palm. No one listens like us anymore. Pining for moments entwined with songs only you could sing, cough syrup psychedelia, duct tape down to your boots, a fistful of pennies thrown at the wind. Burning the last candle in a haunted stairwell, smile full of Novocaine, the responsibility of the moment, soaked with gasoline. A kiss to lock the cage, this empty prayer heavy in your arms. Heathens plucked a feather that shattered the moon. Now the angels won't stop barking.
Who's seen the new Star Wars movie?
Spaceballs?
I don't know. All I know is I'll never see it. And I'm okay with that. Sorry to burst everybody's bubble. Look at my camera again.
You've never been off.
Blues Black. Blues Black is next.
All right.
Good evening. Probably the most notable thing about 4 poems that I'm sharing with you is that they were written a long time ago. By a long time, I mean like 20, 25 years ago. Let's start with a poem about somebody which I once held in high esteem, then over the years, their behavior turned me to run away from them. But this is what this is all about. My boy, Mugabe. Mugabe! 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 We sang your name like it was a sacred song. Mugabe! 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 It was you who were bringing Zimbabwe home to our liberation-loving hearts. It was you who would slay the mad, mighty monster. Mugabe, Mugabe, Mugabe. We stoned the board of governors for you. We ran an organized wilderness for you. We castrated all American fairy tales for you. Mugabe, Mugabe, Mugabe. Now you are strutting about in Stalin's hand-me-down clothes, playing a Woodrow Wilson role. Sadly, I fear Mobutu has slipped into your soul. The perfect metaphor. Haiti, like a Chester Himes novel. Hurt, abused, rejected, unwanted. Haiti, old world, new world baby, belly full of madness, missionaries, Marines. The long black face of invisible history, wailing baby of gunslinging Ivy League grand fairies. Wailing baby of Wild Wild West misleading champions of segregated democracy. The blues, ghostwriting history. If you like, you're all right. If you're brown, stick around. If you're black, get back. Get back. Haiti award-winning Stephen King, John Wayne, Henry Kissinger masterpiece. Indigenous bourgeoisie, international bourgeoisie, strutting their shit. E. Franklin Frazier bourgeoisie, Harold Cruz bourgeoisie, refusing their role, faking it. Papa Doc, Baby Doc, great, groovy, the right thing, as long as Fidel's sticky fingers does not touch it. Haiti, badass stepchild of 4 centuries long New World nightmare, like its long lost cousin, Black America, still learning to walk, still falling, still failing. Haiti, the heartbreaking, perfect metaphor for New World Black people. I suppose most of you are gonna either have the day off or then celebrate Monday. These are old poems regarding what's known as Martin Luther King Day. a blinding, paralyzing celebration. It was a doggedly dreamy day. The marchers paraded down Main Street with heroic historical determination, a cool, merry elegance. It was a stunningly colorful crowd, carrying themselves with pride and hope. The speeches set the air on fire. The poetry was rugged and divine. The dancing ignited one's soul with sacred rumblings. The music was the work of saintly spirits. Yams, pig's feet, beef ribs, collard greens, and cornbreads delighted excited taste buds. Everyone was flying high with Martin's message of love and peace. Someone yelled, "This is heaven." When the played out, all weary worshipers left the scene, a dream bubbled in their eyes. Martin Luther King Day is over. Now what? What now? And this is a poem which my African American brothers and sisters argued with me about. Actually, I've gotten into a few fist fights with them concerning this poem. The low-down, misguided, uninformed, short-sighted, half-baked, pineapple upside-down cake, bone-headed, American, African-American orgy. No more. All right. Not a whisper about Fannie Lou Hamer. Not a word about Ella Baker. How about a shout for Marian Anderson or a song for Nina Simone? No stories about Sojourner Truth or Harriet Tubman or Mary Church Terrell or Mary Bethune or Pauli Murray. No marches for Ida B. Wells Barnett or Dorothy Dandridge. Who knows of Charles Houston? Why don't we celebrate W.E.B. Du Bois? Robeson is wandering dust. Thurgood is a lost ghost. Nat Turner ain't real. Denmark never lived or died. David Walker is drowning in his 3/5 grave. How many of you know of the century-long achievements of A. Philip Randolph? How about a Malcolm X Day? And what about Etta Wallace and the legions of resolute souls who kept us warm between their frightened breasts? Let's dance for Carter Woodson and John Hope Franklin and Monroe Trotter. Let's praise the words of Ernest Gaines, Carolyn Rogers, Chester Himes, Margaret Walker, and Baraka. No talk about Richard and Jimmy is a demented sin. Just another surreal, unreal, dishonest, silly American cakewalk down a decaying Gatling gun American Main Street. It is a low-down, misguided, uninformed, short-sighted, half-baked, pineapple upside-down cake, really, really twisted American, African-American orgy. It is Martin Luther King Day. It is Martin Luther King Day. That's it.
Our next poet can be summed up with one word. Mike.
My name. True. I got 2 cameras. It's for a project I'm doing. If you want to know about it, just talk to me after the reading. I'm not a narcissist. I'm telling you. Alright. Sorry, I'm out of it. This poem is called Digital currency is a centerpiece of the hearth. It's not actually about digital currency. I don't know what I call that. No, you're not actually supposed to shape a Polaroid. You're supposed to shield your subjects, treat them gently, store them in the shadows. You're supposed to treat them exactly like a half-brother or whoever you played games with until they ran away. Not every tree was purchased with a MasterCard, just most of them. Every bird who makes a nest in your gorgeous gift doesn't hover above your altruism. It hovers above a young sapling. Every bird that hovers is named Greg, except for Nancy and Mark. Moments are spread out like all of the trash floating in the oceans. It's like, oh well, I really like to drink out of a straw and I'm not ready to give it up. Then Mark dies. From above, I pick out a large brown plastic laundry bin that everybody has been stuck in at least once, but that only one person was unable to escape from. I call him my half-brother. I found out his life has been shit lately, and his wife left him for cop garbage. I'm sorry, Adam. I heard it coming from the living room. Thanks. This one's called Big Names. What is it like to see your name on a building? Is it like being a millionaire baby hand? Is it like having grappling hooks for teeth? Or is it more complicated? Platinum nail clippings are not really platinum. They are keratin. When you stick your hands between the melted legs of a friendly platinum robot, you are just playing games. Fashion is more serious than hide and seek. When you see a fat baby, do you ask it for its social security card? Do you dip into its pension and tickle its mustache? Or do you fart by example and buy the baby a coat? What is it like to see your name in the paper? Online media is king, so what does it matter? There are more bugs than whispers in all the studio apartments combined, everywhere. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. And our next poet can be summed up with one word also, Connor.
I don't really have a preamble, I'm just going to read. All right. Deadly pen strokes and flicks of forked tongues. Phrases like fingers stroking burnt hair. Waves of words crashing, churning, gliding, floating through the air. Butterflies of beauty fluttering like heartbeats when he says, I love you. Predatory remnants of dinosaurs snatching them out of the air when she responds, I'm sorry. Pages come to life in the light of I-beams, illuminating other worlds for adventure and escape. We don't deserve words. These things that express everything get used to say nothing. Remarks on the weather between birds of a feather. Hollow, they reverberate through the air and drown out sounds of feeling, preventing healing and furtherment of fellow man. Cacophonous clatter as the beaten dead expressions rattle their bones in the hands of those ill-equipped to breathe life back into them. Make something new. Weave a tapestry, soft as silk, smoothly sharing sentiment with another like you. Keep each other warm as the deafening hailstorm of monotony and accepted ignorance crashes against your little tin roof. Step closer to my fire. I sparked it with a steel tongue bouncing off of flint teeth, chipped from fires before, hidden behind lips splintered from kissing life into dry wood. Fires unlike this one. This one is for you. We roast ideas over the flame and feed them to one another, souls rumbling through our stomachs, hungry for more. One fire is enough hope for tomorrow in a storm. Venture forth with it and melt the settling ice, never settling, never stopping. Fire, fire, burning bright, be the source and be the light. Let your mouth produce the burn for which the world has sorely yearned. This gift is not to be taken lightly. Use it, earn it, love it. Gently cup the heads of those staring down at the ground littered with the corpses of characters and letters, and lift their gaze and mind to the sky. Storms and sunsets far along the horizon as the eye can see. Birds and butterflies flying and flitting about. Comets streaking along, lighting the night. Lovers of language burning against the blackness of space. Seeking other stars to share their glow. Glow with them. Go with them. And speak you.
Thank you, Connor.
Oh yeah.
And before we bring our last poet of the open mic up, remember there are soft drinks back there, coffee, and what else did you have back there? Tea, broth. Broth, hot broth. It's cold and flu season. Oh, by the way, I forgot that I was going to do a secret word tonight. So look forward to that next month. We'll have a secret word, and if somebody says the word, they'll get $1. I can tell you what tonight's secret word was going to be. Perspicacity. I don't think anybody would have gotten it. Another word that nobody would have gotten is the deviant word of the day, which is fenstration. That's painting the barrier in your yard bright red. Fenstration. Bright red. Not a secret word, but a deviant word. Ernesto, you're up. Ernesto. I can sum up Ernesto in one word. Ernesto. He's going to draw himself while he's up there.
Buenas noches. Holy shit. It only took 8 years. Well, I'm gonna do 3 things. Please shuffle them and pass them along. I actually haven't done this in a while, so because it's a new year and all, I'm gonna read the tarot cards for the year in poetry. Because you guys, the hands that are touching the deck are full of poetry, and of course we know that before a poetry reading, poets masturbate and they don't waste time. I know we're not supposed to say it. I'm sorry. It's blame it on the foreigner thing. I did not, but I know that Americans usually try not to say that. Be proud of it, man. It's like sometimes she's fucking tired, or he's busy, and you have 5 minutes. And you deserve to be happy. So, all right. So I'm gonna do 2 things. I met Jack. Are you here? No, you didn't make it. Okay. So I met Jack Kavanaugh about a week ago at Loslip, and we were talking about this reading. We were very excited because we're very good friends and fan of Jack's. And he's like, well, I don't know, man. I don't have anything new. So I'm like, remember when we used to challenge us, like, let's write a poem every day and shit like that, Like, I'm so full of creativity, I was like, yeah, it's okay. And sometimes you do it, So I'm like, yeah, let's write something and let's read it there. And so I come up with something. So I guess I won. It was not a competition, it was just a challenge among friends. Here I am, writing you, ghost of lost love, from the depths of indifference tattooed without hesitations. Not because I need to deliver a message in particular, but for the apparent blessing of being able to reach you. I wish I could forget about you completely, or to perceive you as someone else's echo, the photo album of a stranger. Because we dance a tango of words that can't be remembered in none of the languages that we pretend to know well. Because diabolical monsters pour out of my ink with the naturalness of orgasmic lies, and they always smile, even when they shouldn't. Because you are that capsule of nothingness that floats among the miasma of everything. Because we are what we try not to become. Because I would like to know, how much do we owe the stage of our living history? Why do we shelter the dark land where we bury what we expect to let go? First poem of 2018, and now I am going to put my hands around different poems from different times, and at some point one of you guys say, stop! And I will pick that poem.
Stop.
Good. 2016. Shroom, like in shroom, but like as a verb. Shroomed lightly with a big smoky head and kind of tipsy. I wait for my 2016 among amigos and Wi-Fi. My 2016 birthday, I'm assuming. My itchy beard reminds me of the 36 stones I now have to carry with me everywhere, even on bike rides. Despite their generous size, they are not as heavy as they look. I drag them with me like a forced hug. I push them between the crevices of my perception as the worms of destiny. The rock of my addiction floats in the fumes of my madness. Post-coherence lucidity upgrades existence resolution in absurd levels of understanding. So I look for apocalyptic outhouses where to graffiti the secret of the universe. Only mammals, unafraid of the stench that surviving involves, will comprehend it. You're right about pencil drawings covering an entire room, floor to ceilings, wall to wall, where you could stare into the portrait study about the PMS-induced mood of modern gods. We hear you humming the perfect pop tune, hypnotizing every foot in town as they follow the chorus's rhythm like a raver chases dawn's last rolling peaks. The world, this page, your eyes and your ears recall that gargantuan orgasm that left a smile engraved in your sexual soul. A pretty wound to celebrate decadence as a sacrament. And now the cover cards, thank you. All right, so for poetry in 2018, this is necessary. It's part of the ceremony. It's not just theater. One card from the bottom, one card from the top, and a virginal soul of full innocence will take one from the middle. Oh shit, you have one.
I have one.
Okay, but take one from the middle.
Oh, okay.
Whatever the middle is for you. Like the vagina.
Well, that's even
All right.
better.
And the vagina of the deck is. So this is how we got the Eight of Cups, the Queen of Wands, and the King of Cups. So we have a lot of love for poetry in this year because cups are emotions, are feelings, and the king is in control of them. He's like, I know my emotions, I am fucking comfortable with it, but I protect them. I know how to guard them. And the queen is just obsessed with sexuality and ideas and creativity. Kind of like ignoring the king, if you see them, how the obsession of sexuality is ignoring the advances of the king, very comfortable with his cup there. So maybe the thing to do is to surrender to the perfection of your feelings, because the Eight of Cups is that, is feeling as you are meant to feel, okay, as you can expect to feel the best as it is right now. Okay, cool. So lots of love.
And it's
thank
also
you.
21, right?
And it's if you're betting, this will be a good card. The other man will lose his testicle. Okay. Muchas gracias.
All right, thank you for
kicking off 2018 with a great open mic. We're going to give you 5 minutes to stretch out or get a drink from the room. We'll be back with 2 awesome feature performances, so stick around.
I had your name down.
I'm sorry,
That's okay.
I got caught up at dinner.
When they called you, you said, "Good man."